maxilla is the upper jaw section of the skull. It is formed by two maxillary bones, here and here, being fused at the inner maxillary suture here. The maxilla is composed of two different sections, the upper alveoli and the palatine process. The upper alveoli are the tooth sockets, here, and the palatine process are the fused processes that form to make the hard palate of the mouth. The main roles of the maxilla bone are mastication and communication.
So for the mandible of the bone facial structures, we've got 4 bone markings. But first, the mandible is divided into 2 portions. The posterior portion known as the ramus, or rami for plural because we've got 2 sides, or the anterior portion known as the body. So at the rami portion, we've got the condylar process, which is this rounded process that's attached to the temple of the skull, and that basically makes up the TMJ. And anterior to that, we've got the coronoid process, which is this triangular process here. On the body portion, we've got the alveoli or alveoli, that is just the tooth sockets here. And then finally, we've got kind of an opening in the skull known as the mentoforamina, which served as a passageway for the blood vessels and the nerves that are coming through here.
The zygomatic arch is made up of the zygomatic bone in pink and the zygomatic process of the temporal bone in yellow. The lacrimal fossa just meaning shallow depression, is made up of the maxilla, which is in orange, which you heard about earlier, and the lacrimal bone, which is that little section in blue inside the orbital socket. The function of the lacrimal fossa is to hold and protect the lacrimal sac.
Paranasal sinuses, and that's going to contain the frontal, the sphenoid, the ethmoid, and the maxillary bones. And the paranasal sinuses are going to be cavities lined with mucous membranes that are going to be located near and have openings towards the nasal cavities. So speaking of nasal cavities, we're going to move on to the nasal septum, and the nasal septum is going to divide the nasal cavity into 2 halves, and it's going to contain 2 bones, the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone and the vomer, and it's going to have the septal cartilage.
The hard palate makes up the roof of the mouth and is composed of 4 bones of 2 different types. The palatine process of maxilla is in orange, and there are 2 of them, and there are also 2 palatine bones, which are in blue.